10 a.m. I want to let you folks know that's 1861 is when they started. Congratulations, and thanks to Miss Diane Dejon for sending that to us.
Brad Boyd and Cal Davis will be holding their second session of the Boyd Davis basketball camp at Beauchamp High School, and that is this weekend, June 17th. That'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon. Registration $80, and if you have a child, it's a good place to get them in with other good kids, but it's also good if you have a child that has a real interest in making the team one day. Go to people like this. Spend a few dollars on your child or your grandchild. Maybe the grandpa can afford the money better than the father can, than the mother. In other words, try to get them with good people like these. These young guys here know the game, they coached the game, and they played the game, so they can help your child.
I went to a basketball camp as a junior high kid. It was a life-changing experience for me. Got me out my shell, got me talking and working with other kids. It was a big deal. And since then, I've sent my kids, and I've sent a grandson to basketball camp.
Our own Opelousas High athlete and went on to LSU, and now he's with the Saints. Devery Henderson is having his football camp, and he is going to also have some of his NFL teammates
and friends
assisting him, right? And it's going to be host the first Skills and Drills. That's what he's going to call it. Football camp, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. June 25th. That's going to be next week. Children ages 10 to 14 at Opelousas High School. And certainly, if you have any interest, you can call Keith Washington. You remember Keith at 309-2089. And one more here, former Port Barre football standout Marvin White. Boy, he was, I guess, one of the
best player I ever saw play over there in my time.
And they've had a lot of good players. He's going to hold his Marvin White football and cheer camp on June 23rd at Port Barre High School. The free camp is from 8 to 11 a.m. and enrollment is a first come, first call basis.
Go to marvinwhite.org and you can find out more info.
That is correct. And we recommend, and Westminster basketball camp is coming up July the 11th to 14th. We can come back on that another time.
I got to get some spots. I got to pay some bills. I didn't got any yet. Piggly Wiggly. If you want to go down to Piggly Wiggly, 2 locations in Opelousas on North, Highway 182 North, and on the south side on Heather Drive. Pork steaks right now, $1.59 a pound. You know, it's Father's Day this weekend. If you're going to cook for Dad outside, then pork steaks, let me tell you, that's what I like on the grill. And they got T-bone steaks, $5.99 a pound for the family pack. Raw oak charcoal, $2.99 for an 8-pound bag. My favorite charcoal. Go buy your local Piggly Wiggly with locations also in Church Point, Rain, Scott, Cecilia, and St. Martinville. Let me hit a couple of other sponsors here. Steamboat Warehouse. If you're going to take Dad out and treat him, I can't think of a better place to go than Steamboat Warehouse. Get him away from Mama's cooking. Is that what you want to do?
That's what I always say.
Give Mama a break. That's what you want to do. Go to Steamboat Warehouse, treat Dad. Y'all pay the bill. Dad's used to paying them bills. Y'all treat Dad and pay the bill for him. Get him a good bottle of wine, maybe a good steak if he's a steak man, maybe a little bit of seafood. Chef owner Jason Hugate is doing all kind of great stuff right now. And let me tell you, crabs are starting to move around. Shrimp is still great right now. Crawfish is still very fresh. Go by Steamboat Warehouse in Washington, and let me tell you, you will not regret it. And one more sponsor, Washington State Bank, all your banking needs, 24/7 internet banking, which is something that I plug a lot. So easy to pay your bills. You know, today is like the 15th or the 16th. It's like, oh, I was supposed to pay that on the 13th. That bill was due, and I'm a day late, gonna charge me 10 extra bucks, 15 extra bucks. They're gonna raise my interest rate on my credit card because I was 2 days late. Do all that online. It's always on time. You can take care of it. You can have it automatically withdraw and take care of all that. You can do it yourself. You don't have to call some lady and fill out a form or nothing. You can just do it online through your own account, all online. You can borrow money for your business, for your home, long-term fixed interest rates. Washington State Bank locations in Washington, Opelousas, Ornerville, Leonville, and Palmetto.
I was buying some gas here at the Chevron station on the corner of Judson Walsh and Old Sunset Highway 182.
Cajuns.
And of course, I'm the one that built the place like it is today, the big canopy, and converted it into a Chevron station.
And a restaurant.
Well, and the pay at the pump, I was the first independent in the nation to have. The companies had that. They were starting to get into that, but
they had their own cards. But
according to Chevron, I was the first one in the nation.
You could use visas and everything at that one, which was unheard of at that time.
That's correct. Another thing that I was kind of first of in the state was the crispy, crunchy fried chicken. The gentleman Mr. Jim, who built the station, set it up for me. I had to pay for a portion of it. He paid for a portion to convert it to the Chevron. But he was, I guess, the first man with crispy, crunchy. Then my friend from Church Point, I think of it, Neil Onabane, came along. They became partners, and of course, Mr. Jim died suddenly. Now Neil has this statewide franchise and does very, very well. Good morning to you, Mr. Neil. I know he watches the program time to time when he gets a chance. And anyhow, I remember when I was pumping gas. By the way, they are very competitive on their pricing right now. I mean, the gentleman who has taken over the station, I'm not sure, I think he comes out of Lake Charles, but he's the one that I understand has maybe a lease purchase on the property. He's making some big improvements. He's changing the whole entrance system into the convenience store, is redoing all of that.
He's experienced. He's done this kind of work.
He knows what he's doing, apparently. And while I was pumping gas, I remembered probably the last time 99 cents gas was pumped was when I had my grand opening. Chevron cut the price maybe 10 cents that day just to draw a big crowd. And we drew a big crowd. I remember
the hot dogs on the property.
Herb Schilling with the Budweiser distributor. He sent the Budweiser girls. I have a picture, and I have a picture with Megan in my arms. So she was probably 12, 15 months old. So that tells you that was about 19 years ago when
hot dogs and Cuckoo the Clown, and you had
Roscoe Chenier. And what reminded me to bring all this up is Roscoe was featured in the newspaper. He was being given a certificate of appreciation for playing at a senior citizen. Of course, he's a senior citizen, but he still goes out and does all kind of charitable. What a man! He played music for us for about 5 hours that day, and I guess it could go on and on, but it started with me while I was pumping that $2.49 a gallon, which is one of the cheapest in town.
Cheapest in town.
And they're a little bit less than that today. They're even better priced than $2.49. So anyhow, it reminded me of that beautiful day I had when I had the grand opening.
You know what else you had that day that nobody else really had? You had you started serving boiled crawfish in the restaurant and to go. You couldn't do that anywhere in the parish at that time.
It's amazing.
I used to go all the way to Cecilia and Henderson. You asked me one day, you said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to get some boiled crawfish." "Why don't you just buy that in town?" I said, "Where, Bobby?"
Yep.
You said, "You kidding me? There's nobody in town that does that."
Yep.
I said, "Nobody."
My brother-in-law at that time, Don Johnson, was the manager of the restaurant back in those days. And we served a little over 50,000 pounds in that little short time. Most of it in, but we also had enough. We'd get enough to serve the customers to go. But to my knowledge, you are correct. We were the first one in the Opelousas area for sure.
To do both. I mean, nobody else was doing that.
No, that's right. Anyhow, a lot of firsts, a lot of fun. God has been so good. Every once in a while, you'll hear me use that term, and I use it because it's in my heart. Why did he pick the little boy from Plaisance? I don't know. So when I try to do something good, it's just to show my appreciation for God's goodness to me.
Very good. How about this one? Talking about Roscoe Wound Treatment Center, where Roscoe has been quite a bit. You know, Roscoe's suffered over the years with diabetic type issues, and I see him often with Dr. Carrie Thibodeau down there, the Wound Treatment Center. If you got diabetic type complications, if you got varicose veins, if you got things that won't quite heal from either aging, it takes longer to heal as you get older, maybe longer to heal from some surgery you've had done. The Wound Treatment Center over at Opelousas General Health System can help you with everything from skin grafts, synthetic grafts, and hyperbaric treatment. You know, they were showing the horse, I'm trying to remember, was it the second leg of the Triple Crown that had a broken leg in the last 2 years, really bad injury, and looked like, to me, they were going to put the horse down. Saved the horse, and they were showing the horse on television this weekend during the last leg of the Triple Crown, and they were showing that to heal the horse well, the horse has hyperbaric treatment each day. And they showed, I mean, the horse just puts his leg in this thing and he walks up just like a cat, puts his leg in there, and they do all that. Same type of things that the best thoroughbreds in the country get, you get right here in Opelousas. You can be a thoroughbred with Dr. Thibodeau. How you like that?
On Monday night, Vicki and I had a little meal over at the Palace Cafe, and I got Joe Elder's cell number from his former wife, Miss Tina, and I'm going to call you, Mr. Joe, and I want to go and visit you because he inquires about how I'm doing all the time. So he's got some health problems, as everybody knows that knows him, and I want to go visit him. He's building a new home. It might be finished with his new home.
I bet it's got good wood.
And of course, Dr. Bertrand and his wife Carolyn were also there. They were regular customers there. And Carolyn's daughter Jerry and her little son Matthew. Good morning to all of you. He and his mother Jerry watched the program because she said, "You recognize that man that just sat down and thought a little while?" She said, "What about TV?" He said, "Oh, Mr. Bob." Hey, so good morning. And there were two girls that came in from West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. I gave them a business card. They were looking for someone in the Miller family. They had spent some time in Eunice, and they learned that possibly that particular person that many years ago had been buried in Opelousas. I explained to them about the St. Landry Catholic Church, but everything was closed and everything was dark, and they were heading out, so I kind of felt bad, but I picked up that tab for them, so they felt better when they were leaving. Just, you know, it's amazing how many young people travel today, and they don't see any harm. You know, they're not afraid. It's wonderful. You know, it really is. And those are the kids that you sure would hate to see be taken advantage of by some criminal on the side of the road, you know. But anyhow, maybe they watching the program, because I did show them the back of the card, how to watch it on their computer, and you know they have computers. You know that
You think so?
they
got that on their phone. They
well,
do all that on their phone.
that's how they found out about Opelousas and all, was on the computer. So anyhow, good morning to all of you.
KSLO and TV fans, we're going to see you folks on the other side of 3 for the Bobby Dupre Show.